morning, good afternoon, good evening. What a great day it's going to be today. Hey, you are here for another episode of the Journey to Freedom podcast. And I'm Dr. B. I'm your host. And today you are in for a treat. We have another podcast extraordinaire, Cleveland King. I'm going to let him do his intro right here in a second. But just let you know you are going to have, if this is one of the shows you go, should I listen to this? Or should I not listen to us? Will I get something out of this? Or is this going to be a waste of my 1 hour? Here's my commitment to you. I don't ever want to waste an hour of your life because time is so precious. Time is so important. We are only on this planet for a blip of time. True. God has given us purpose. God has given us a reason. And if we don't take that reason and run with it, my friend, you are missing out on so much. And there's so much to do, so much to help out. And, one of the things Cleveland and I were talking before the show started, we were just talking a little bit about purpose. And, I'm in this place with Journey to Freedom that you are part of, that you are listening to, that is part of God's purpose for my life. In fact, every day I have this prayer. I usually have it that I'm going to read to you right now. It says, "Dear Lord, give me the vision to do the things you put me on this earth to do in a way that pleases you and serves others." And my friend, that's in the Bible. That's one of them prayers that you can't miss out on. And so Cleveland is another one of those folks who has found his purpose. And we're going to talk about what that means. We're going to talk about how that happens, how God, this great Father that we have, has put it in us to be able to do the things that he would want us to do. I don't know if you've ever listened to Myron Golden, Cleveland, but he talks about kingdom and, we're in the king's dominion, and that's the realm that we're in. That's the earth that we're part of. And, and so when we think about Journey to Freedom, when we think about as Black men, and this is what's so fun about this show, is that we have a purpose, that we have been put on this planet. And I am so thankful every day that I get up that I'm born in this time. I don't know what it's going to be like in the future. Maybe it'll be easier to be Black in the future, but I can tell you it's a lot easier to be Black now than it was in the past. That's and I can tell you this country hasn't been the greatest place for Black folks in the history that we've been coming through. But the shoulders of the giants that I get to stand on, the things that I was able to learn, the things that they went through so I would be crazy not to take advantage of it. And so when we're going to talk about the pillars today, we might get to some of them. We might get to all of them. It just might be a dialogue between Cleveland and I that you get to listen to. But what I promise you at the end of this show, you're gonna think more about your purpose if you don't already know it. You're going to think more about what do I need to do next if you're not already doing it. And you're going to want to find somebody else that you're going to be thinking about. I can tell you right now, you're going to be thinking about somebody who needs to watch this show. And I'm going to encourage you now, write their name down when you hear it, and then send the link to them. Send this link to that person who needs to hear what we're talking about today. So Cleveland, thank you for being on. I'm going to let you introduce however you love to introduce. I'm going to let you talk however you want to talk, and we're going to have some fun today.
I'm so excited. I'm trying to stay in my seat here. Right. I was just hooping and hollering. I was like, amen, brother. You got it. Yes. Oh, I was, whew. Anyway, all right. Thank you. My name is Cleveland King. For you, those of you who don't know it, my name is Cleveland King. I am the creator of the Legacy Homebuyer Program. The Legacy Homebuyer Program is the only program in the country that'll get you a house for $1,000 total cost. I am very excited. That is my purpose in life. It is so interesting that God is he makes you who you're supposed to be for the moment and the time you're supposed to be. He is like, even though you're unique and different, and my heart is to get everybody that can't buy a house into a house. That's my heart. But my aesthetics say something else. So because of this, because the way I look, only certain people will come to me. I think that is one of the designs that the Lord has given me and everyone that also is a believer in God, that he makes us uniquely before our purpose in life. And my purpose, no doubtly, is to get people in the houses.
Absolutely. Oh man, that's so exciting. Houses.
I'm excited, man. This is my purpose. I can talk about this all day long. Some people say, hey, you know what? How come you have the only program in the country to get you a house for $1,000 total cost? I say, how come I have the only program in the country that'll get you a house for $1,000 total cost? Out of all the agents in the country, out of all the lenders in the country, how come no one has developed a plan truly that you could buy any house there is and not pay so much money? How come that is? That's my question is the same question everybody else does. The first reason is you have to want to. How many people want to?
There you go.
This is my purpose. I more than want to, but how many people want to help somebody else more than they want to help themselves? Most people want to line their pocket. What about helping the next brother get to the next place where he can line his pocket, not only for him, but for generations? If you can help generations by maybe taking a little sacrifice from yourself, how come we won't do that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Amen. No, you are so right. And
I'm sorry.
For lack of knowledge, right? And then once you have the knowledge, and so here's what I'm saying now, you don't have an excuse after this, right? If you don't call Cleveland and say, this is where I'm at, this is what I need to do. And then he walks you through the process of doing it. And this is what's great about, for me, because I'm a lender and I do, I specialize, for most of you guys already know this, in reverse mortgages most of the time. And so I'm mostly the time I'm dealing with somebody who doesn't have a house or already has a house and is trying to figure out how do they use the best equity that they can so that they can have a quality of life afterwards. Or they're thinking, well, I have to downsize. I just did one with my in-laws there in California. They moved here, and they sold their house in California. We moved here and they got to keep most of their money they sold it from because we did a reverse mortgage, no payment the rest of their life, that kind of stuff. But, whatever the programs are, I've done the Metro DPA program, I've done the Deerfield program, I've done the Chaffa program, I've done whatever I can get somebody into a house. Because for me, it's more important that they're in a house than it is that whatever that commission or whatever it is that I'm going to get. God bless me on that side of it. But whatever program that I can find that's going to help somebody get into a house, that is the most important, one of the most important things that they can do to start their journey on building wealth. And so I'm here before I have so many questions, but I want you to kind of give your story because we know your purpose now. But where did you come from? Like, what rock did you crawl out under?
What happened in my life
to get you to this point? I want to hear it. So let us know.
I had some great jobs at the airport that I still love and cherish, and I never wanted to quit.
Okay.
And, but I knew I was supposed to do something else. Back when I was a kid, my mom and my best friend's mother had the same job. Okay. But I was able to go to my best friend's house and they went on trips. And my mom, we didn't go on trips. We barely were paying the bills. We were a single mom. But even though they were a single family, they were able to go on trips. And then I asked her, what's the difference? Why am I going on trips with you and we can't do the same thing? And she said, honestly, to a 10-year-old boy, because I own my house.
Wow.
Light bulb went on. That's the first time the light bulb went on. And then I didn't understand what that meant. I'm 10. Yeah. I'm 10 when I'm in 5th grade, right? 4th, whatever it is. Yeah. But it stayed in my head. Okay, she owns her house. What is the difference with owning your house? So that played in my head for years to come. And I started to ask other people because we didn't own ours at the time. Eventually, we ended up owning ours. And when I found out the reason why, because when you rent, you can't control it. You don't know if it's up or down and what's going on. It's all over the place, right? But when you buy, that's it. That dollar amount you bought it for, that mortgage payment, if you don't do anything, stays the same for up to forever until you pay it off. So if you got a mortgage payment for like $2,000, right? 20 years from now, it'll still be $2,000.
Yeah.
What do you think the payments of equity and interest are going to be for the next person for 20 years? My house payment I bought 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I bought my house, right? Story about mine. I paid close to $3,000 4 years ago, right? After 4 years, I took $100,000 out, and it went down $800. Now let's think about that. How many people renting is going to get a house, right? Mm-hmm. Take $100,000 to do whatever I wanted to, and then still have your payment go down. Then I was like, okay, you know what? Everybody needs to do this. But I was already there. I was already there. So I got into real estate so I could help all my friends and all my family. And then I didn't care after that. I was going to go back to the airport and be good. So I did it for 2 years. I got all my first cousins, first generation, everybody got a house. Then my second generation, everybody got a house. I have a big family. And then my third generation, I started working on them. They were 18 years old on both sides. They both got it. And then I used the same program that I use for my family. Because this is what, God, boy, I tell you. I don't want to testify, but boy, I tell you, boy. So this is what he did. He made sure that I took care of the people that meant the most to me, my family and my friends. Yeah. And they went from broke to bougie. No joke. Broke to bougie because their payment stayed the same and they could take money out and do different things. Broke to bougie, real talk. If you talk to them now, you would never know they was broke and we didn't have no money for a long time. But because we have wealth in our homes that people don't understand, you get a lot of equity and wealth in your home from a lot of different places. So anyway, where was I at? I was talking about my.
You was at 10 years old, and she told you she got the house because she got to go. They got to go on trips. You didn't get to go on trips.
Yeah. So I remember my family. I got 3 generations of my family in homes on both sides. On both sides. So if you talk about legacy, I was good. And then I wanted to quit and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I pretty much, I did. I quit real estate, went back to the airport. I liked talking to people, hanging out. I thought that I had taken care of everything and I was good. And then God started when you know what you're supposed to do.
And you're not doing it?
There's no doubt. You know what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And I knew what I was supposed to do. And I was like, oh, shit. My family's good. What else? What do you want? What else do you want? And I started being belligerent and shouldn't did different things. And then God let me know that he was God.
Yes. And then you are not.
and I said, okay, what do you want me to do? He said, we're all family. Mm-hmm. Everybody is your family.
Yeah. And
you should treat them all the same. And then the Legacy Home, well, actually then this had so many different names to it. Eventually the Legacy Homebuyer Program came from a random conversation I had with another pastor friend of mine. He said, you should call it Legacy. I said, why? Because legacy is what it really is. Because you have created a legacy with your family that most people wish they could. He said, look at all the realtors and lenders that are out there, and all their family members doesn't have houses. But yours does, all the way to the 3rd generation on both sides. That is a legacy of its own. Yes, and I said, okay, you're good. You're right. Maybe I'll call it the Legacy Homebuyer Program because that's really what it is. I'm just trying to get people in houses, right? And he said, yes, that's what you should call it. So then the Legacy Homebuyer Program came up. And then I met BJ in happenstance. God is in control. He knows your path. You just have to show up. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to show up. He's going to guide you. BJ came. BJ was, I worked with BJ's wife's mother at the airport 10 years ago. And he just showed up selling Comcast at my office. And then he said, I'm married to such and such and such and such. I was like, what? I didn't really. And then his mother-in-law, who I knew for 10 years, calls me and says, he's a good guy. Treat him well. And I said, okay, because you're a good person. This is where the trust comes.
Yep.
We may not be able to trust somebody from just hello, but
Mhm.
we get references from our lives from people we trust that can vouch for other people.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
she vouched for him. And I was like, okay, he can do whatever he wants. I'll buy whatever.
Mhm.
And from my trust from her that transferred to him, he trusted me and he put the Legacy Homebuyer Program on the map because he had a Black business Facebook page, right?
Mhm.
And I was one of the first people that believed in it. I still believe in it. I still think you should do it. I still believe in it. And I'd like to believe I was one of the first people that signed up
Mhm.
for whatever. And after that, then people knew what Legacy Homebuyer Program is, knew who Cleveland King was, knew what I was trying to do. And then once you get that window, then you can just spread it and grow and grow. We're a national program now. We were not national until
Mhm.
recently. But from one idea, one thought, if you just show up, God doesn't want you to do it. You just got to show up.
Mhm.
Just say, okay, I'm here. What do you
Yeah.
want me to do?
Yeah.
And not try to do it yourself. And he will take you where you need to go. I'm sorry, I'm all emotional, man.
No, that is so amazing. I mean, that is just, the fact that you get to be in purpose, and then you get to see how it manifests itself if you're willing to be able and willing to just be there and let God lead. And it's so amazing. And part of our, part of this journey is how does faith interact with the rest of your life and the things that you're trying to do and the things that you're trying to accomplish and that identity, and it interacts with your finances and it interacts with your health, and it's just amazing when you say, okay, let go and let God. But for a lot of folks, they don't see that, right? They see okay, I'll let go a little bit, but my identity, the person that I need to become, I'm not that person yet in order to do the thing. Right. I want to do the thing, but I haven't become the person because God is still working on you. But a lot of folks aren't patient enough to let God work on them. Let the people that intersect in their life, like the BJs that show up, and being able to trust that person has your best at heart. And let's do this for a second, because I want to talk about identity a little bit, because I want to hear from you. What identity did you need to have in order to be willing to trust, be willing to say, okay, I want to this legacy program, or I found out how to do it. Like somebody had to teach you how to do it, and you had to, or something happened where intersected with associations or people. I can't wait to hear what it was that allowed you, because your personality, the person you were, the way that you were brought up, the way that you, whether it was your mom or the people around you, taught you how to interact and create relationships, all prepared you to be ready to take this on. Because I think of, if you don't have the ability to have relationships with other people because you hate them and you run from them, and you think that everybody's trying to cheat you, how do you market, right? How do you market something that can help people if you don't like people, you don't believe in people? So just give me, I mean, as you're thinking about it, a glimpse of what your identity had to be, or from that time when what your identity was before the lady told you, I own a home, that's why we get on the trips, and the light bulb went on, to where it is now. That makes sense.
So who is Cleveland King? It's a funny thing.
Yeah.
On my podcast, I did a podcast, Who is Cleveland King? Because I'm with you, man. People have to trust, and in our community, there's a lack of trust, and the reason not being there's a lack of trust because sometimes people that look like us are the people that treat us the worst. So how do you know which ones are good and which ones are bad? And I go back to what it was. Even biblically, like the bloodline, okay? You know what you're going to get from the next person to the next because the last person taught the one before how to be an honorable person.
Yeah.
So your family vouches for you, and your family will actually tell on you if you're a bad person. But if you're a good person, your family will say, this is the right person. Like BJ's mother-in-law said about BJ. So that's where some of the trust came from. I've always wanted to represent my family. That's why I took care of my family first.
Okay.
So I my family knows that I'm a good guy. My family told all their friends and all their family, they were the biggest voices, this guy here will take care of you and put you in a place you never thought of. So that's where the trust came from whom I am. Is that answering the question, or maybe it does not?
Yeah, no, that's the guy you trust. And when I think about identity along with trust, so like like you said, who is Cleveland King? In order to, when I think about identity, like how do I show up? Because there's a lot of people in our community who, when you're sitting at the barbershop or you're sitting in circles, and they talk about how bad life is, or they talk about not just how bad life is, or who's going to do what to them and why they can't move forward, or why they're not succeeding, because they haven't become, in some cases, that person who can succeed, because their belief system limits their ability to move forward. And so because their belief system is not where it needs to be, they don't believe anything can happen for them. All they can believe is all the things that are going to happen to them.
That's true.
And so that's the identity that they carry around. It's not that you're a child of God, you're the God's king, you're God's, the king's child, that you're born from greatness, that you have the ability to do anything you want. God has a purpose for your life. You're going to be amazing. Like the things that I tried to feed into my kids, like, don't let somebody tell you you can't until you went out there and do it.
People don't know who they are, and they don't know whose they are.
There you go. Absolutely.
Jesus runs in our blood, folks.
Yes.
He said, I had a hard time. I was looking at what a mustard seed was, and I was like, you can't even show it on the video.
Mm-hmm.
If that's all the faith you got to have, y'all ain't even got that. Come on now. Dr. Wilder said something, because I was looking at some of the videos that were interesting. And he said, the cavalry is not coming. I don't agree with that. The cavalry is here. You just don't know who they are.
There you go.
Okay. Here to change and grow and make us who we're supposed to be. You have to know whose you are and who you are, and we will take you there.
Gotcha.
Let me calm down. I'm sorry.
All right. No, you're good. Because
that's talking about my purpose, man.
Yeah, no, because that's part of your identity, right? Your identity has that belief system that there's nothing that, God is going to show up and he's going to take me where I need to go. And then that happens. It manifests itself because he is, and he's there. But there's so, like when I was a teacher and I was, I'm still doing coaching and that kind of stuff. And you see some of these broken kids. And then we have systems in our society that tell you that you're not worth what everybody else is worth. We have systems that tell you that you can't because of history of who you are and how you show up and how you look like. We have systems in this country that show people that, hey, if I go to the grocery store, somebody might be following me around thinking that I'm going to, take something from them or something. These systems where we took dads out of the family, right? Where, single moms are raising men. And because of that, the identities of some folks are the lack. I can't, I won't. They're not, they fired me because of this. I didn't do, but did you do the work? Well, they don't even know how to do the work, right? And the identity doesn't have them believe that they should be the bank president or be the CEO of the company, or so
But failure is harder than success, folks.
It is.
Failure is harder than success. Being broke is harder than having money. It's easier for me to have a house than for me when I was renting, by far. Don't believe what they tell you. Things are easier than they say they are. Buying a house is as simple as renting an apartment. Call somebody. If they don't understand what they're saying and it seems complex, then you know what you should do? Call somebody else. Because then just because they don't understand it doesn't mean the next person is not going to understand it. Sorry, doctor.
Oh no, you were so right.
You got to be minded of purpose, man.
So when I think about my identity, I can trace back probably, not just the things I've watched or I learned or in school and the Dr. MLKs of the world, the folks that you learned about is in history. But I can trace back to association certain coaches my father, I think of some of the bosses that I had. When I started out as an administrator at the university, there was a dean, and she was a Black lady who I know how hard it was for her to become a dean at that university. But because she went before me, then she literally took me under her wing. I mean, we had coffee every single week where she could tell me how to get by and get through the systems and make it, because I wanted to quit the first week. Right? Here I am, a 27-year-old professor who's in charge of a master's program, and folks are not happy that this 27, one, I'm 27, and the other, I'm a young Black man who is now, in some of them, I'm actually their boss. They were not happy about that. And so I needed somebody that put that belief in me, because they were telling me every day I couldn't do it. But then once I did it, and now I'm there for a year and there for a couple of years, my identity changed. Now I know I could do it. I know I could do it. So what are there any pivotal times in your life where that identity, maybe it was at the airport? You tell me where.
It was at the airport.
Okay.
It was that's where the change started. My father wasn't there. He was a Rolling Stone. I had some role models to a certain degree, but they can only go so far. When I got a job at the airport and started working with older men, I basically adopted them as the father figure that I did not have. And they basically helped raise me. That's probably why I stayed at the airport so long, because the father figures was there. That what pushed me out and made me do this to the point that this is a national program. COVID hit and they all died. Can you believe that?
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
It hit and all my role models died. And then I got depressed and sad. And my best friend in the world died. The one I've known since the 5th grade, he died of some unknown alcoholism that I didn't even know he had to that degree. And then I thought, okay, God, what now? What do you want me to do? You done took everybody out of my life. What do you want me to? I was mad. What do you want me to do? God, when God's talking to you, when he is. He said, you need to be the one.
Okay.
And I said, how? You took everyone out.
You don't have, yeah.
I don't have it.
Yes.
And he said, okay. Whoo, sorry.
No, I love it.
Here's the thing. If you have a dream and a vision, and you can actually achieve it, it's not big enough, because he didn't put you on here for you to do it. He's going to do it. So your dream has to be bigger. My dream was, I just wanted to help people in Colorado, not nationally. Now I'm helping people nationally, because my dream is narrow, but God can do anything. He can do it. National probably ain't big enough.
Yeah. Wow.
You got to show up, and you got to know who you are. If you know who you are, and if you show up, you just let him do it, because that's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah. Wow. Where does the dream come from?
I just wanted my family not to be broke, man. We were so poor, it was a joke.
Yeah.
We government cheese, all that. Kool-Aid, we did it. Drank out of the hose, was poor food stamps. We was poor as I just wanted to make sure the next generation wasn't poor. That lady told me she bought her house. I was like, well, all of us need to have one. And I made sure everybody got one. Everybody in my friends, everybody in my circle. And, Mr. Golden, he speaks about your circle. Well, since all those people died, all the people, which were basically anchors, they were anchors in my development.
Yeah.
So not that they had to all be wiped out, but once they were all wiped out, then my growth just increased. So I went from circle to circle to circle. Now I'm in the $1 million club, right? But I'm going to have to go to the next circle, which is probably the $1 billion club.
I love it.
But I'm not trying to make money, man. My view, my riches are up there. You could have this, I'm not going to be broke, but that's not where my mindset is. Mindset is up there. If I get money, I'm just going to invest back in the program, because ultimately we all need to stop being slaves of the system. And I don't know what it's going to take. It's probably going to take somebody to wake us all up. And maybe that's not it. Maybe it's going to take a lot of somebodies. Maybe it's going to take something else. Like I said, the cavalry is here. You just don't know who they are.
You just don't know who it is. Yeah.
You just don't know who they are.
Wow. So you said slaves of the system. And one of the things that I think about is, there are systems that are designed, and they're getting out of them exactly what they were designed to do.
That's right.
And to recognize that first is huge. But then what are some of the things that we need to do as Black men to say, I am no longer going to be a part of this system that is trying to, or not trying to, it just is, because that's the way it was designed, to keep me from my purpose, to keep me from my dream, to keep me, listening in a way that just harms me, and I think of, and I see reasons for, some of the things we do, with some of the marches and some of the gatherings that we go to, and being able to understand our history. But I see so many people use that as excuses or crutches. And then they'll look at somebody like you who's successful, so like myself, and they'll say, well, you were just lucky. Well, you just told us you grew up in the same places with the same hardships, with the same system, but you were able to make it out of the system. And they'll say, well, you're different.
No.
What is it that,
you're the same.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about that slave of the system, and then how to remove yourself from some of those systems that enslave us.
They want us to not like each other for whatever reason it is. They want us, this is it. They want us to not like each other. They want us to talk to each other. They want us to see different classes or different whatever. No, we're the same. I'm going to start a homebuyer program in the prison system because there's a lot of us there. And I've sold homes to people. It doesn't matter because it's not that hard. I've sold homes to many people who were incarcerated. Matter of fact, today I was going to Colorado Springs to get the stuff from my future client. It's the same thing they need out here as they do inside to qualify for a house. Think about it. Now I'm talking to you lenders. I'm talking to you lenders because I know you guys can get these guys qualified if you tried. And I know if you go there, you'll have business. I'm also talking to you realtors that say, I don't have any business. I got to go do another job. No, you don't. I've worked for the DOC. There's enough business there till the day is long. You can work until you don't want to work. The same qualifications that get them houses outside are the same qualifications that will get them houses inside. You just have to wait for them to go on parole. So let's just go over it, just for those of you that pretend like you don't know what you're doing.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. How many years do you have to have your job? 2 years, right? It doesn't matter if you worked at McDonald's for one and Wendy's for the other. You know what else it doesn't matter? If you worked in the kitchen at the prison and you got a job at McDonald's, it's the same job.
Of course. Yeah.
And what do? What does the lender do? Well, the lender looks at the last 6 months or the last whatever, and they say, well, this is what they're making. This is their salary. And then what? That person is now qualified. And it's easier. I would even say it's easier to get them qualified because they have to have a job.
They can't quit. They can't. Yeah.
They can't quit.
They can't quit. They can't
have a job. But how many people have gone to the prison systems where people that look like us, a lot of them look like us, and a lot of them have a parole date. Not all of them are going to be in there forever. A lot of them have a parole date. And you know what happens to those people? A lot of those people that have a parole date, they leave and they're homeless when they don't have to be, because all they need is a job that the world. And there's a lot of jobs that transfer from the real world to the prison world. Once they're in that job, they can buy a house. You know how I found that out? Because I volunteered myself for the DLC because I had some other people that I knew that went to jail and all that kind of stuff. And they said, you know what? We have a whole lot of people. And the ones they got me working with first were people that didn't look like me. Now, they were willing to work with me because I was willing to work with them. And there was no one else that wanted to work with them. But here's the thing with a lot of people that are in prison, especially the mass incarceration that is an injustice and very racist. They over sentence us all the time, and they think that we did more than what we really did. When you look at the next white guy, might have killed the whole
village, I know.
village and blew them all up. And what about all the white folks that brought black people over here and made them slaves and killed their whole family? None of them went to jail, but
yeah.
But anyway, a lot of people in jail didn't do as bad as what they say they did, and that's just another way to put us down, because they put the black man down, they put the whole family down. But what if they come out and not only can they help their family, they can get them in a house and totally change that generation forever?
Forever.
How come we don't go there?
Yeah.
There should be home buying programs at every prison across the country, but there's not one. So now what am I going to say? I'm Cleveland King. I'm the only one that comes to the jails to establish a home buyer program. I'm hoping that this gets out and somebody else says, maybe I can do that too, because you can. If your dream is this big, it has to be this big, because you're not the one in control.
Yeah. And there's room. There's room for we all. I mean, we try to hide like there's this lack, or there's, when you think of economics, it's the scarcity mentality that there's a finite resource, right? And if we use up this finite resource, that there's none left. And so that's why there's so much. I think there's so much greed and so much. I gotta have mine because there's not enough for you and me both to have. Which that's not the God we serve.
No,
he never said nothing about finite resources. He never said you're gonna run out of sun. You gonna run.
He put gold on earth when there wasn't even any stores. It was gold when there was only 2 people. Come on, folks. Come on. I read the Bible. It's in Genesis. If you didn't open the first book, then you.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
This would be great, Kate, because we started down this and we've been talking about money a little bit. And I know you've piqued some interest in people as far as, you mean I can have a house and I can have it not in 20 years. I can have it in right now. Kind of maybe just
an apartment.
Yeah. If they're absolutely. Kind of walk us through what it would take somebody, or what they have to bring to you. What is it that they have to be able to do in order to be able to get a house for $1,000?
That's pretty easy. You have to want to. If you
want to, number one, you gotta want to.
You gotta want to, and you gotta try. Okay. You gotta want to, and you gotta try. Okay. First, you gotta do. You look at your credit score. First thing. A lot of us don't even know what one is. Scary.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can't look at Credit Karma, because Credit Karma is off 60 to 80 points any direction, any given day. You don't know. They're on a total different system. It's Vantage. It's not my FICO. It's not real. So those of you that use Credit Karma, it's trash. Now, what you could do, if you don't have any money, or you're broke, or you just don't want to spend money on finding what your credit score is, you can write to all 3 bureaus for the price of postage. They will give you your credit score for the price of postage. So when someone says they can't do it, you could literally go on the corner and ask for money, and you could get postage to get your credit score.
Ask for a stamp. You don't even have to ask for money.
You're right. Can I get a stamp? But anyway,
I'm going to give you a quarter, but I'll give you a stamp.
Say you don't do that. Say you got $20. You might as well have something.
Yeah.
You can go on the internet and go to any 3 credit bureaus, and they'll give you the whole all of them for like $20 or $30. It's not very much, but especially not for what you're about to do and change your generations forever, right? Once you get your credit score, you may have to fix it. Some of us don't even have one, but there's a ways around it. I see my job as like I was working at maybe a MASH unit. So I've seen everything. There's nothing I haven't seen. I fixed someone's child support multiple times. Oh, I can't buy a house because I owe child support. Yes, you can. Have you tried?
Yeah.
You got to break your mental mind first. Your mindset has to change first.
Yeah.
And that chain might be who knows how long. You can fix your taxes. You can fix anything. So anyway, first of all, you get your credit score. Okay, whatever it is, it needs to be at least a 620 to go anywhere you want to go for the most part. If it's not 620, if it's a 580, we can get you into some places, but you gotta make money. If it's a 580, you can't be
get you to 620. It's not that hard to get you from
620. It's not that hard. you don't even have to pay all your bills to get 620.
No,
that's
exactly. It's not that hard. We can help you get there.
And you can have collections. Anyway, it's not that hard to get a 620. People need to understand it's not hard. It's easy. Do the easy work. Mm-hmm. Let God show up with the hard work.
Yes.
So anyway, get the 620 credit score. After you get that, hey Cleveland, I got a 620. Really great. Or whoever you want to call. You can call another realtor if you want to. I'm not going to step on anyone's feet. I hope everybody succeeds. There's enough money for everybody. Besides, my money's coming from somewhere else. But anyway, so once you get the 620 credit score, I will set you up with whatever lender I think is going to work with you the best based on who you are. You may be a difficult person. You may be a hard person. Your personality may be someone that needs a little pushing, a little shoving. Maybe your personality is easy. You can get it done quicker. I understand we're all different people. So it basically, I'm the filtration system that goes to the next person. Once they get that, then we go looking. Well, you have to take another little course. It's called the Legacy Homebuyer Program. It's just to get you understanding of what benefits you're going to get and how you're going to get. Basically, don't treat me bad because I will fire you.
I love it. Yes.
You can fire me, but understanding I can fire you. And I'm not a regular realtor because I'm the one that's going to give your family a lot of benefits that the others aren't so far. Hopefully they will. You never know after this program. You never know. So anyway, then you after you take my little program and you got your credit score, then we go out looking for houses. Okay. You can, buy what you can with what you can afford. Please don't buy more than what you can afford. I will advise you, but this is another mental place that sometimes people don't listen and they get whatever they want. I will tell you, it's better not to have it all right now and to build it up, and then it'll be worth something later on, especially if you're late in the game, and most of us are late in the game. But people tend to do whatever they want to do, and I'll let them do it, but I tell them what the best way of going, and then whatever they do, okay? Then you go to the point of inspection, right? Mm-hmm. This is where you start paying money, right? So the inspector that you choose, right, is going to charge you anywhere from $300 to $500, unless the inspection's already done. Or maybe it's a build and you don't have to worry about inspection so much, okay? I still sometimes think you should get somebody to look at it, but whatever, it's up to you, right? Then the next thing you got to pay is for the appraisal, okay? The appraisal, $500 to $800, depending on where you go, whatever. But it's pretty much, we have no control over that, right? Then we go to that. That's what you have to pay for. Now, during this whole process, the lender is working on your loan, okay? And while the lender is working on the loan, what are they looking at? All the programs that are out there. Mm-hmm. Now, because I am the system, the filtration system, I learn a little bit about you and see what lender to put you into. I'm gonna give credit to where credit is due. This is another realtor. His name is Barry Overton. He's at Cleveland. You need to go lenders informationals and learn everything, because all of them are not the same, and that is the truth. Every lender doesn't have the same thing. Every mortgage broker doesn't know the same thing. There are things all over the place. And then as a realtor, you can negotiate different things, because my goal is to get you in the house for $1,000 total cost. Now, if I can't do that, if I'm saying I'm going to do that, I've got to be either as close as I can, give you more money, or, then why am I even saying what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I will pick a lender that's going to make sure that the closing costs are covered, because we're going to be able to pay for the down payment from a number of programs. The closing cost is the one you can't do. So there's a couple of things that I do with the closing costs is I negotiate with a lender. So if you're working with me, right? And I told you, because a loan is actually something tangible. but the people don't think it's tangible. They think it's something, who knows what it is, right?
Yeah,
but it's a tangible item, right? Okay. If I told you, the average realtor, for those of you who don't know, the average realtor sells 4 to 6 houses a year. So out of that 4 to 6 houses a year, the average across the country, right? How many loans do you think that they're going to give that one lender? Maybe one, maybe two, maybe whatever, right? Okay. I'm going to the lender and I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to give you 20 transactions this year. What are you going to do for me? I don't want you to give me any money, but if I'm going to give you 20, which is 10 times more than the next person, what am I going to get for that? Because I can give this 20 to anybody. I don't have to give this to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about I lower some of the fees? Yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you lower some of your fees so that you can even get the bulk? Just like anything, if you got a bulk of something, you're still benefiting from it, right?
Absolutely.
Versus having one of something, now you got 20.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get that done, unfortunately. Well, I don't know what your program is, but you can't get that done from somebody that is doesn't either own they have to either own the company, they have to be a branch manager of the company, or they have to be some senior advisor. So, if you were to tell me that I was going to talk to the top of whatever one time in my life in any type of financial thing, I would have told you that's not who I am, but I know whose I am. Yeah. I know whose I am.
Yeah.
So, okay. So once you talk to the top person, then you're able to, because they don't have to work. It's just like credit score, once you talk to the guy on top, you don't have to pay as much as you talk to the guys on the bottom. So it's the same type of thing with lending. You talk to the guys on the top, they're able to manipulate different situations. Now, if I can't manipulate any situation that you're only paying whatever with your mortgage, your closing costs, right? Because you can also ask the seller, right? Then the Legacy Homebuyer Program and the lender will get together and we will come up with whatever we have to do in order to drop your what you owe for closing costs. So once you got the down payment and the closing costs paid off, which are the two biggest ones, right? Mm-hmm. All you have left is the inspection and the appraisal, and that's where we get our $1,000 total cost to get into a house. Now, and back to the process of it, once they go to that, we find the house. Once we find the house, you pay the inspection. After you pay for the inspection, which is $300 to $400, you pay through the appraisal, which is $500 to $700, whatever. And then we go to closing, and then we've already worked on paying off your closing costs, and you've already got your down payment. So what do you have left? All you paid is the inspection and the appraisal, and now you're in the house.
Now you get your keys. Yep.
And we could do that over and over and over and over and over again, nationally. And I've told everybody.
You did? You did.
We don't live in a scarcity world, right?
No, exactly. Well, and the one thing that is in there, and you brought it up, is getting something that you're not ready for. And that's where you find people who go, well, I want to live in Southeast Aurora, in the $1 million houses. Well, you make $80,000 a year. You're not. That's not where you're going to, right?
You're not going there. But I might be able to find a state property that's in disarray, and you can do a 203K program, and you can make it, fix it up, and then it might be worth $1 million.
Yeah. You're just not moving into the model home that the KB home has sitting there. That is, and we got to make sure that it's affordable for you. I mean, if you're spending, $3,500 a month on your house payment, and you make, $4,000 a month, then there's no quality of life, right?
It's not like it was when we were kids, when they bought one house and stayed there for their whole life. It's a move up situation. You got to start wherever you are and move up, and people don't want to do that.
No. Well,
they'd rather stay in an apartment. Yeah. Crazy.
I even tell people, why do you have to buy your first house in Colorado?
You're right. You're right. Depending on your job, you leave.
Most of y'all work remote or whatever. There's nothing that says you have to, even if the first one is you're using as a. I mean, I know there's you got to live in the house and that kind of stuff on first time home buyer stuff on some of them, but On a lot of them, you don't have to live there. If you work remote, go work 6 months in Wyoming. Get your house, come back, rent it out, whatever you're going to do. But whatever the rules are. I mean, I don't want you breaking rules to do stuff, but at the same time, there's options.
You know, I Airbnb my house out, and it's 6 figures all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But some people don't make that at a job.
Yeah.
Part-time.
Gotcha. What do you do to be healthy? How do you stay healthy with all the work that you're doing and all the things that you're helping people out with? What do you do to take care of you, mental and physical?
BJ's been trying to get me to go work out with him. I haven't done that. I've been working out at home a little bit, but I need to work out a little bit more than I do. I noticed myself not doing anything other than the job, so I bought a dog, and that will make you work out.
They want to go out. They don't want to just sit in the crate all day, right?
That if you're like a couch potato or whatever happens in your life, get a dog, and that helped a lot. You know, I understand why a lot of white folks got dogs, because you got they're going to either use it in your house or out the house. So you got to figure something out. So
yeah, when they look at you with them eyes and go like, I need to go on a walk. Please take me somewhere.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
I do that, and I take a lot of different supplements. You kind of got to nowadays, because the food quality is just trash, man. You got to supplement with the vitamins that they don't have in there anymore. So that's what I do from a health standpoint. I do think all of us need to get tested for different things on some level. I know a lot of us don't, because the doctors haven't been good to us, which is very true. But you're still going to have to go get tested by somebody. Hopefully, a friend of a friend of a friend has recommended somebody, and that's back to the trust issue. You know, how do you trust somebody, right? Because I know the doctors aren't been good to my family, so you got to find someone that you can trust.
You do. You have to find now. And you even talked about that. Whatever the pillars are, the circles are, you have to find people in your circle. How do you circle up? Because you talked about you had mentors and folks that were guiding you, but at some point, and you even talked about a little bit that, you know, I'm in the $1 Million Club, now I got to get to the $1 Billion Club, so I have to circle up with my associations to people that I can learn from. That's How do you find those associations that when you're in your sphere and you know you're doing okay, now you become the guy who's leading that sphere and everybody is looking to you for answers? How do you find the person that you can look to for answers?
You're going to have to leave your sphere, and you have to understand you're going to probably have to leave it more than once in your life.
Okay.
And you might be comfortable. You might hear something people say, I've known them for 50 years or 20 years, and I don't want to leave them. If you don't leave them, you're going to be right where they are. And where they say you're about $10,000 or $20,000 from where your sphere of influence is, that is a fact. If you are the smartest person in that room, you are in the wrong room. You got to get out of that room. Oh my God, I'm the smartest one in here. You need to leave. And then you need to get to the room that maybe you are not the smartest, maybe the lower end of that room. And then once you get to the smartest of that room, then it's time to go to another room. It's got to be a continual movement of.
Yes.
And it's amazing. You know, I remember when I used to think $100 was a lot of money. I remember that. I was in $100 room. That's why I thought $100 was a lot of money. So then I got out of that room, and then I thought $1,000 was a lot of money. And then I got out of that room, and then I thought $10,000 was a lot of money. Then I got out of that. You got to keep moving rooms. You got to get out of those rooms. If you think $100 is a lot of money, or if you even think $1,000 is a lot of money, you're in the wrong room. And if your friends won't go, then you leave.
And it's okay. It's okay to go to another room.
They're in these rooms my rooms that people go in and out or whatever, right? Most people are welcome people in those rooms. We will welcome you can come in our room, find something that we find in common, talk about sports, And you can come in my room. I will share whatever you want. I think we are scared to talk to each other because society has made us think we are each other's enemy.
I know.
We are not. We are not. And the cavalry is here. We just don't know who it is.
And that's the rooms we got to go to. You have to be able to find other associations. Oh my gosh. And what you find out in the bigger room that you get to, the more willing people are to even help out.
Yes.
Because they said, I did this. I don't want anybody to have to go through what I went through. Let me show you how not to do it. You know,
you have to understand, you can't go from $100 room to a $10,000 room.
Oh, no.
They're not going to let you in. But if you go up steps and you learn enough that the $1,000 guy knows to get to the next step, they will let you in because you are somewhat like them.
Yes, absolutely. You're willing to do the work. If you're sitting home watching video games, then you're not going to nobody's room.
You're in the $100 room.
Oh my gosh. So you talked a little bit about sports, and this will probably be one towards my last questions, and the entertainment value of sports, and the things that people do that are not helping themselves, not personal development, not growing, but they'll spend all this money and time on something, watching somebody else win, whether it's a sport or it's buying, being a consumer and buying the latest Jordans or jerseys, or because it makes them feel better to be part of somebody else's life, because they're really not. I mean, if you think of, Murray or whatever that's playing for the Nuggets now, I buy his jersey, but I'm not really on his team, right? Not yet anyways, right? He's happy that I'm wearing his jersey. Mm-hmm. And I'm identifying with him.
Maybe he doesn't care. You want to wear my shirt, man? I got one for you.
Exactly. How do you switch the mentality on for a few years or for a certain amount of time? Maybe I have to get rid of some of those entertainment principles. Like, I shouldn't be coming home from work every single night and watching reel after reel after reel of 30-second entertainment reels instead of, for an hour, where I could watch one long-term reel, or whatever they call it, of something that could help me move forward, or help me learn something, or help me grow, or be in a circle where people are talking about things that can actually help me move forward. What do you say to the person who's just doing that? And I'm not saying you shouldn't be, watching football, but I think of like the amount of money that NFL ticket cost for somebody who's broke.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money to go to. I used to I still go to a lot of games, but I go to games, but it's more of a perk. Somebody
done the work.
Gave me tickets for this, gave me tickets for that. Then you wear jerseys, so you have a conversation, because that's how you get into the room. That's how you get into the rooms.
Yes, absolutely.
You got to have that conversation, so they invite you to their room, and now you go from one room to another. So for me, I will use jerseys and stuff like that to get me to another room. There's people that just use that kind of stuff and stay in a room that nobody's talking to. Well, if you're going to spend money for something, you should have a benefit for it. So I'm going to wear the Murray jersey, right? So I can talk to the guy over there, or even talk to Murray. Maybe Murray will even talk to me, right? Mm-hmm. And then I can get to a different room. The goal in life should be how you can move rooms. If there was a Monopoly or a chess game, it should be how I can move from this room to the next room, to the next room, to the next room. And then once I've mastered what room I'm going to get in, how can I put my descendants in the second or third room so they don't have to start in the first room? Because the first room is what sucks. Amen. And that's the $100 room. You don't want your kid in that $100 room. You want your kid in the $10,000 room and not think that that's nothing, so that then when they get to the $100 million room, they get there faster than you. Now you've done what? You've created generational wealth by wearing that Murray jersey.
I love it.
BJ, one thing I don't like about BJ is he is a Raider fan. Oh, man. I took him. We went to a Raider game in Denver, and the Raiders were winning. And I was like, man, I'm leaving, and if you get lucky and they let you out of here, good for you.
But he was born here. What's what?
Oh,
I don't think he's even never lived in California.
Oh man,
or Vegas now, I guess. But man, holy.
If there was one thing I would say about my boy, and I love you, man. I do. You are, man. And you wear that stuff to piss me off. But other than that, that would be the one thing you wear. Oh man, yeah.
I love it. Yeah, we're gonna have to like name this podcast. Get out the $100 room. Let me show you how. I mean, that you have just encapsulated so much of what's necessary to move forward in our last 5 minutes of a conversation. Is the purpose of some of this stuff, like to put on that jersey and go sit in your living room and watch the game by yourself and cheer on the team and we won, is like, okay.
You can go to any bar and with that jersey on and change a room.
Yes.
Any bar.
I love it.
Change rooms.
I love it.
So anything you buy of somebody else's, unless it's this one,
there you go.
Then it's got to be something to change room. And if you wore this one and you talked a little bit, you probably could get into my room.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Hey, so we got it, hey, we're at an hour right now. So give me the last 5 minutes. I love this. Give me the last 5 minutes of whatever we didn't talk about that we should have talked about or that you would have talked about on your podcast, but something that we can leave everybody on this one, because we're going to do this again at some point. What could we leave people with that you want folks to know that can help move the needle?
What do I want people to know that will help move the needle?
Move their needle. Yeah.
The Calvary is here.
Okay. Love it.
You just don't know who we are. You didn't look to see who we are. And if you try and just put yourselves out there a little bit, we will come to the rescue.
I love it. Thank you, Cleveland. Thank you for being part of the Journey to Freedom podcast. Thank you for, like I said, we're going to have you back on. Maybe we can do you and BJ at the same time, and we can really.
Oh, then you'll really see something then.
Oh my gosh!
Wear that old black and gold and really be getting me going.
Oh my gosh! we'll even wear our jerseys and stuff and create a room. It's just going to be so much fun to be able to do some stuff. And just, if you are watching this and, please subscribe, whatever you do on YouTube, to make other people, find 5 or 10 people who will watch this show, that we can start moving this needle. My goal this year is 100 Black men in the year 2024. We're moving towards it. It's going to happen, of people who are in the rooms you want to be on. There's even going to be an option for me. We're going to create some rooms at some point through the coaching stuff that I'm doing and putting people in rooms that can help them move forward. I love that concept of rooms and how we're doing it. And so thank you for being part of this podcast. Thank you for subscribing and just being part of what we're trying to do. God's kingdom. And this is what we're moving forward.
Dr. B, for having me on here. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. You have a lot of great people on here. I'm probably going to be watching some of your other videos. They're pretty amazing. My whole goal in this was just to live up to those guys because they were amazing. If you haven't listened to any of his other podcasts and other people, you got to. And they're mind scratchers. They'll make you think at a whole new, different and deeper level. I know I'm dramatic, but those guys are deep. And it's very impressive, and I'm glad you're doing this. This is definitely something that needed to be done, and you can tell that you, sir, are definitely in your purpose.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being part of the show today. Hey, we'll see you on the next one. Do whatever you can to make it a great day. Don't have a good day. Make it a great day. God loves you. We'll talk to you soon.